few moments of privacy together.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Right over here. Okay. Now, let me set these bags down, and I'll make it quick. Okay?
All right, real quick.
Okay. And you can record this. Okay.
All right.
The reason why I'm out here panhandling. Okay, I believe the purpose of life is to be a humanitarian. Okay, because I think this is what really true Christianity is being a humanitarian. It's not doctrine, it's not dogma, it's not living your life a certain way to please somebody's social value standards or policies dictated by a church. None of that is important. Right. It's just two things. Jesus said, what is the greatest commandment? He said, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy mind, and with all thy strength. And the second commandment is no less great, but is likened to the first, and no less great. You shalt love your neighbor as yourself. On these two lie the 10, the law, and the prophets. So I believe the purpose of life is to be humanitarian. So I have two friends of mine named Robert and Lynn. Robert and his wife, Lynn. Robert had an edema, a swelling of the tissue in his legs. He had nobody else to turn to. He's on Social Security disability. He's on Medicare and Medi-Cal. But they would pay for the operation. The leg fills up with fluid and water with an edema, and the blood can't circulate to all the capillaries, okay? Right. So he had no one else to turn to. If I did not help him out, Medicare says we will pay for the procedure to stick needles or pins, tubes in his legs to drain all the fluids out so that the blood can circulate so the legs won't swell up. But if you can't afford to pay the copay, the medical copay, which is $750, $800, then we'll just take the leg off at the knee. And he would have lost both legs. He would have been transferred to some care home as an amputee in a wheelchair.
Right.
Okay. His wife came over here from Great Britain. She didn't have her green card. She wants permanent residency or green card. And after 9/11, everything changed. So she would have been deported and sent back to England. And who would have cared? The world wouldn't care. The world would go on without blinking an eye. So I panhandled from April 1st, 2003 until today. I saved Robert's legs from being amputated. I saved her from being deported. She's in the process of getting her green card. She gets it the end of September, around September 30th. That's a ballpark figure. She'll get her green card around the end of September. She has a job, but she's in training. She works now. She's an executive secretary and a computer whiz. Now she knows how to use computers. Okay, so she can get a job as an executive assistant for any major corporation. That's the kind of qualifications she has, but she needs a green card in order to work legally in the United States. Okay. She took a state certified course to be a certified counselor to help young people. So she passed the course. She got a job, but she's in training because the state agency cannot pay her legally until she gets a green card. So they said, we will let you work, but we can't pay you. We'll train you. We'll train you in how to do your job. And when you get your green card, the end of September, then we'll give you your first paycheck. So that's because that's their policy, the state agency. Okay, that's the law and that's their policy. So Frankie, my name is Frankie. I go and I panhandle to pay her. His Social Security disability check pays the rent. So well, I chip in $120 and the rent is paid. But how about power, gas, electric, phone, cable, grocery money, and medical wraps for his legs, a special procedure so that to clean and drain the legs so that the leg stays healthy.
Right.
I pay for that. Okay. The things that Medicare doesn't pay for, I chip in and I pay for that. So that's what I've been doing since April 1st, 2003 until today. But it's a lot less stressful now because they have their own place since September 1st, 2005. Her father and his mother got together and they got a 1-bedroom in Highland Park. But before that, I was paying the rent plus the procedures, and it was really a drain on me. But since then, they have a 1-bedroom since September 1st, 2005. So I pay once a month. The last 5 days of the month and the first 5 days of the month, I take and I pay all the gas, power, electric, plus medical expenses, phone, cable, and grocery money for Robert and his wife Lynn.
Right.
Now
Sure.
she gets a green card. The end of September she takes over, and then Frankie can take care of Frankie. Now I'm saying all this because this is my calling given to me by God Almighty, Jehovah, and His Son Jesus Christ. This is what I believe, because Jesus says, "He who loves his life will lose it, but he who loses his life for my sake shall he find it." Now, very important. This is my calling that I believe God gave me, because I believe the purpose of life is to be a humanitarian. Because what it means to be a Christian really is to be a humanitarian.
Right.
That's what I believe. I don't believe in doctrine or dogma. That's all not important.
Yeah. Right.
I believe in just being a humanitarian and love people, care about people, save people, heal people. Because Robert and Lynn had no one else to turn to. She would have been deported. Their marriage would have been over with. He would be an amputee in a wheelchair. And who would have cared? Nobody except me, Frankie.
Right,
They're my best friends. Okay. Now, my reward is in heaven. Jesus says, "He who loves his life will lose it, but he who loses his life for my sake shall he find it." Jesus said, "Unless a man be willing to forsake his mother, father, brother, and sister, and come and follow me, he can in no ways be my disciple." Okay, so now this is what I did, and my reward's in heaven. Now I say this for a reason, because this is the end of the age. The rapture, I don't know if you ever heard of that, is coming.
Yeah.
Okay, the 2,000-year church age ended in the year 2000. Listen to me very closely what I'm going to tell you now, because it's the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Okay? The Bible's, I can tell you this, how I know that the rapture is so close at hand. I believe the rapture is going to happen in November of this year, 2007. November 2007. No one knows the day or the hour, but you'll know when he's near, even at the door, as though someone's knocking at your door. Okay, November 2007, I believe, is when the rapture will occur. Now, how do I know this? How am I so sure that that's the time that the rapture will happen? I'm going to tell you. Okay, the 2,000-year church age came to an end in the year 2000. God uses geometry to create the universe. The universe is ordered. The moon is equal distance from the earth. The moon controls the ocean's tides. High tide and low tide is controlled by the moon.